I don't know what to do for an intro for an episode where we actually look at something that's not the 9 Star Wars movies anymore.
I'm very grateful that we are not talking about one
The
of the
9
9
Star
Star Wars movies tonight. I'm so happy.
Should I just say now, because I was going to put this at the beginning of the episode, hey, we watch Star Wars every week forever. It's on the tin that we're going to get kind of sick of it, so this is probably not the podcast if you want a live fan reaction, or if you're a racist.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Star Wars Every Week Forever, where we discuss, as we've teased several times in the past, the recently finished up Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So,
Yeah.
Chris, how was your Kenobi watch?
Very, very good. I enjoyed it tremendously.
And you, Jay?
Y'all, this is a good show. This is better than anything else in Star Wars.
It's a good show.
It's a
I
good
literally
show.
said that to my wife when we finished the final episode last night. I was like, "This is the best thing Star Wars has ever done." That's it. You know, it's.
I don't know about ever, but it's up there.
I think if I hadn't watched Star Wars Every Week Forever, like we do, this is an offshoot of the main podcast where we get sick of Star Wars watching it every week. If I didn't watch Star Wars Every Week Forever, I don't think this would be the best thing they ever made, but I would enjoy it thoroughly. As it stands, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and it's the best thing Star Wars has ever made.
It is a great show. A lot of people, from what I saw, were complaining about the pacing, but like I feel like those are people who don't
No, it's great
understand that
pacing.
like
This was
stories tend to be slow at the start because that's how you tell a story.
I thought the pacing was very good, actually.
On the main podcast, I've talked about how I just spilled iced tea everywhere. On the
That's my
main
That's what we
favorite
talk
part.
about every week.
On the main podcast, I brought up a few times how I hate the 6-episode event because so often they feel crazy rushed. This was not that. This was great pacing from beginning to end. I think maybe you could have prolonged an episode a bit longer than they were, and it'd be a little bit cleaner. But as far as like a 6-episode event on Disney Plus, it's the best they've ever done, in my opinion, without having watched any other Star Wars Disney Plus properties. Except like 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
I'm surprised because I went into this like, all right, how much shit can they realistically get Obi-Wan into?
Turns out a lot.
Yeah.
Turns out a lot of shit,
Turns
and
out a
it
whole
makes
fucking
sense.
lot.
I'm surprised how okay I am with it on the other side. Or I'm like, yeah, you know what? I buy
Yeah.
that. I get it.
I was pretty surprised about how okay I am overall with it. Like, nothing about it bugs me as far as established canon. It actually, in some ways, fixed some canon, in my opinion. I came out of this with some revelations that made me very happy.
It also kind of tries to repair, in a way, the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi with the prequels in mind in A New Hope, and I don't think that was necessarily necessary, but I think it adds a lot to...
Oh, yeah.
It adds way more than I think even the prequels do. They did a really good job with this show. This was a great show.
Poor Jay had to deal with my play-by-play of the last episode as I was watching it.
No, it wasn't that bad. It was good. I was glad because I watched it, after I got home from a doctor's appointment, and I saw Ben start to watch it. I'm like, yeah, because I got to I got to talk about it a little bit, because we have gone as close to as far out of our way to not talk about it as possible, while also talking about it. We tape our regular recordings 6 weeks in advance, and there will be at least one episode where we bring up a point, but we've tried not to talk about this show except to like get a feel like, do you like the show? And the overwhelming thing has been like, I like the show. I think I was sold in the first 20 minutes of the first episode. I know it took Chris a little longer than that.
I mean, really only by I think the only point I disagreed with you on that was like, I don't think the first episode sold me, but the first and second episode dropped at the same time. I think I was sold by the end of the second episode. And if I wasn't, I was sure as shit sold by the third episode. You know?
The first episode is definitely the weakest of the show. But I was looking for, I think most people went into the show saying, give me an excuse to justify Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine. And as soon as you were like, Leia, as soon as you got over in your head, like, wait, that can't happen. Wait, it can, because literally nowhere in Star Wars has it said that Leia never met Obi-Wan. And it actually explains her actions way more. And also explains why she named her son Ben.
I said that to my wife last night. I was like, oh, that's it. I was like, that's been one of my biggest, well, you know, maybe that's not fair. I have 100 episodes that say otherwise of me bitching about the sequels. But, yeah, one of my issues with the sequels has always been that. It makes no sense to me. Why would Leia name her son after a guy that
she knew
she
for
never
like a half hour?
You know? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. I mean,
it worked out.
This makes it work. I mean, I'm 100% okay with it now. You know, it's
this show has a lot of tree branches that have implications throughout the series, and I think 99% of those tree branches are like good, positive effects on the franchise.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps. It bridges it doesn't bridge a ton of gaps, but it makes a lot of the leaps that are made in the storytelling a little shorter jumps.
Well, I really appreciate, like, in this day and age where I can read the full synopsis of any Marvel movie 6 months before it comes out. I really appreciate the fact that we saw Luke in the trailers, but there was not even a whisper of Leia appearing in this fucking thing.
They
and then Leia becomes the secondary protagonist of the fucking series, you know?
Becomes the plot.
Do we have the name of the actor that played young Leia? Because she did a fantastic job.
Oh, she was incredible.
Yeah.
She was incredible. She was perfect as Leia. I mean, she did such an incredible job.
That's the best child actor by far that's ever been used in Star Wars, like, in any capacity. I mean, out of the two, but still.
Everybody in this fucking show blew it out of the water. I mean, like
Vivian Lyra Blair. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Lyra, Lyra.
So, do we want to? Ben, you're flying the ship. Do we want to take this episode by episode, or?
Jay hates this podcast. We're flying half a ship.
I mean, let's try to go slightly more chronologically than we normally do. Let's at least try to start like beginning points to end points, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't even remotely expecting that, like, Leia was going to be in this. Like, I mean, perhaps the thought should have crossed my mind, like, oh, maybe we'll get a tiny glimpse of Leia or something, like, you know, whatever, you know, him checking in from afar, like, with Bale, you know, like, which, again, very excited to see Jimmy Smits again. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, I was going to
see him back.
We're going in chronological order
friend
anyway.
Of the show, Jimmy Smits.
Since we're going in chronological order anyway, let's talk about the cast, and then we'll go into like the show itself.
I want to get a tangent off my chest first, real quick.
Oh no, we're starting off hot. Go.
The Organas are the parents I wish I had.
Okay, that's a different tangent than I thought you were gonna say when you had a tangent.
I am jealous of this fictional little girl and the upbringing she had.
Well, I'm not jealous of the upbringing because
not the trauma, but the parenting.
The parenting is good. The princess, I don't think. No, thank you. But yeah, they're good. Owen and Beru are also surprisingly good parents in this show.
Oh my god.
That's one of the things that made me the happiest in this series was like, because everyone's always like, I think we've said it before, like, Owen, you don't see much of him. He kind of comes off gruff and, like, you know, whatever. Like, I've defended Owen previously as not being a slave owner, except for droids, which Star Wars doesn't consider.
That's a hell of a thing to say out of context.
Look, we've talked about it on the main podcast. If you're new here, Star Wars treats droids like shit. They don't consider them to be people. Yeah. We absolutely consider them to be people. I don't know, man. I was really, I was super excited to see, like, not only more of Owen actually getting to be a person and kind of getting to show he's not a dickhead, But I was really excited about them getting the actual actors, like the actors back from the
They did.
prequels.
A fantastic job of getting all of these people back.
Yeah.
And as much as this, we put a lot of attention on Ewan McGregor trying to become Sir Alec Guinness, and that's always been one of the most important things about him in the role. I think Joel Edgerton, I don't know the exact pronunciation.
Joel Edgerton.
I think he might do a better job of becoming Phil Brown, which is the original actor for Owen, than Ewan does becoming Sir Alec. He gives off the same vibe. He managed to do that perfectly.
Yeah. But it's really cool because like he does give off that exact same vibe, but you see enough of him to know like, no, he cares about this kid. He means well. He's not a hard ass. He's not an asshole. It's just like, he's I don't know. I don't know a way to describe it that makes any sense. He's just like, it made me very happy, to see him not an asshole. Like
he's wholesome.
Yeah. I mean, he was a little bit of an asshole, but whenever he was around his family and not talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was
I mean, even I feel like the assholery was kind of justified.
To go marginally off the chronological thing, there's a scene in the final episode where they're going into a shop and they're getting a belt for the speeder, and he's like, someone broke the last 3, and the shop owner's like, oh, you have a very patient father. It's just a very quiet, not that patient. It was just very good. Very good.
So do we want to start picking apart episodes?
Yeah, I think that's probably.
Well, not picking apart's probably wrong, but we want to take it starting with episodes like 1 and 2.
Yeah. So this show opens fucking hot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Credit to. I don't know what they call it. I've watched behind the scenes on the screen that they use to record these Star Wars shows now.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't remember the name of it offhand, but the big dome thing, essentially.
Yeah, the dome, the half circular, the C-shaped thing that they use so that you're not just staring at blue screen when you're on set. That was fantastic. I don't know how much of the set that they used for the Jedi Temple was that and how much of it was practical effects, something physically there. But it looked not in a bad way either, because obviously it's an old movie now comparatively, but that looked exactly like the Jedi Temple that we just left off on Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
Exactly like it. Exactly.
I mean, top to bottom, visually, this show was fucking incredible. I mean, just everything about
it. Like,
there were some hiccups, I think.
We'll get there.
There was one thing that I have a bit of
a
gripe.
One thing. We'll get there. But this show started off so fucking good. Like, it came in hot, and it almost makes the 10 minutes that followed that was like very slow, like feel like they slapped you across the face and then they make you sit with it. And I like the vibe of it, but I can see why people would think that was slow, quote unquote.
And like, I feel like this show kind of needed in the beginnings a lot of room to breathe, because like we need to know what Obi-Wan's been up to for the past 9 fucking years. Like,
I will say it was really cool to see practical clone armor.
Yeah,
I know, right? That's bugged me on. So those of you that are unaware, they're literally, until this show was made, never ever was a physical set of clone trooper armor. Never once. And then they made practical clone armor in the show, like Chris said, and it made me so happy.
And it looked great. I mean, like it's crazy, like to finally get a perspective on how bad fully CGI characters look when you put them next to a real person in actual practical armor. I mean, like, it looked fucking fantastic, and I'm hoping we get some more Clone era stuff, so we get, like, I know that in the trailers for Andor there's some practical clone troopers. I'm just hoping at some point we get some, I don't know, Clone Wars era stuff that's live action, so we could see some more of that.
I like how we do get this perspective of Obi-Wan working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
We
all
grind at
cheers.
Yeah.
The entire first episode I was like, this is just the Obi-Wan that we've made on our podcast. This depressed, wants to die, drunken.
He was working this job, and I see him riding off, and I was like, please, for the love of God, go to a cantina, because then we can basically say we at least partially got Cheers. I was rooting for it the whole time, but nope, alas.
No. How great would that? Hold on, I think we've stumbled upon a very great missed opportunity with this show. Because how great would it be if he went to the Mos Espa cantina, and next time we see him there is in A New Hope, where he's like, "Yep, that's a wretched hive of scum and villainy."
Consider this. Not that you're going to get around the massive amount of fucking belly aching that went on from... I saw somebody make a tweet this week, and it really made me happy. That was just, lore is the worst thing that ever happened to the Star Wars fan. It was so... That is such a good fucking line.
Yeah.
I'm insulted.
But I went into the show, like, and I kept telling my wife over and over again, keep your expectations low, like, especially in regards to Vader stuff, because I've talked about it on the main show. My wife loves Darth Vader. My wife loves Hayden Christensen. She loves Darth Vader to a worrying degree, as well as Anakin Skywalker. She's very forgiving of certain actions, just based solely on how much she likes this character. This show did a good job of breaking that a little bit finally, which was very good.
Chris, is this a call for help, Chris? Is everything all right?
I think the weekly show is a call for help.
I was going to say,
what do you mean?
This show goes out of its fucking way. One of my concerns when they said that Hayden was coming back is like, they're gonna semi-forgive and baby that character. From start to end, even the one scene we get later, which we'll talk about, where it's young Anakin, they literally just are telling you over and over again, this isn't forgiving them. We are demonizing this fascist bastard.
No, they tried multiple times of being like, hey, look, this guy's a piece of shit. This is how much of a piece of shit he is. We're finally doing a better job of illustrating how much of a piece of shit he is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is like, I don't know.
All I wanted.
I'm hoping for more of this energy in the future, because we might hit a point where we're getting there if you look at the Vader comic and stuff, and this has definitely helped, where like Anakin is an interesting villain. Mm-hmm. There's no point in which I regard Anakin Skywalker as a hero in any of these movies, even through Clone Wars, when they, he's like, a hero who falls. Anakin Skywalker is never a fucking hero.
No.
You get a little bit more of that in the Clone Wars, the animated series, but they've done a really good job recently of like making him one of those villains I talk about constantly on the weekly show. I like to use, the analogy. I like villains that you understand why they do the things they do, or why they are the way they are. It doesn't excuse them. It doesn't make you like them. But Clone Wars did that with Ahsoka. All of the shit that the Jedi Council put Ahsoka through, it makes Revenge of the Sith make more sense in the grander scheme of things.
Of the disillusionment Anakin experienced with the Jedi Order.
So, just to get it off my chest, one of the many, many, many complaints about this show, somebody online got rightfully ratioed to fucking death for saying that Star Wars is a purely Christian experience because Anakin is Jesus Christ. I would politely request that whatever smoke and hopium that you're doing right now, the person that made that tweet, I would like to smoke whatever you were smoking that made you forget the majority of the Star Wars franchise, that you would only go based off of Immaculate Conception to say, no, Anakin Skywalker is Jesus Christ. I want to know what you're smoking, because I just want to forget the last, 10 years. I'd love to, and I think that would get me there.
Not even the last 10 years. I mean, it's a fascinating statement to make when you're introduced to this character as Darth Vader. His origin of Immaculate Conception or whatever, but it's like, this dude starts as a villain. It's like, man, you're telling on your religion here. What do you mean? Dude, you're comparing him a little bit too much to Jesus. The Immaculate Conception thing. We've made a lot of space Jesus jokes about Anakin in the past. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that comparison stops there. What is he, fucking 18 when he commits his first genocide? And then just it gets worse and worse from there.
So, like, to get us back on track here, I love the first conversation that we have with Obi-Wan. It's just him being told he smells like shit over and over and over again.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like, he's been out there just, like, sweating in those fucking robes for a decade, living in a fucking cave. That man must fucking be putrid. We get like 6 seconds of Anthony Daniels in there, and I'm happy he got the paycheck. And I'm also happy that we know that C-3PO wasn't always thrown on a ship throughout the first 10 years. He also got to go to like galas and shit. I'm glad for 3PO. Good for 3PO.
Yeah, that was nice because like I think it was already known through established canon that he was with Leia, obviously, but like I didn't know. We didn't get much background on it. So, yeah, like you said, it was nice to know that he got to just kind of be a normal protocol droid for a while,
Yeah.
He got a little bit of a break.
I think he was with Bale the majority of the time, and that would be like his good years, his golden years.
Yeah.
So he does remember his golden years. Golden.
Well, I mean, they probably, because at this point, C-3PO doesn't remember.
No, he gets his memory back at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
No, but he doesn't remember the prequels.
Right, but he still got to do the thing that he likes to do in current canon. In what
he doesn't.
What
He doesn't remember the prequels, so his memory basically starts at serving for Bail Organa. So he,
On Alderaan,
on
Alderaan, where droids actually have rights, I will point out.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
I love
liberation.
I was about to say I love this new I love this new Leia lore that she's a droid liberationist. I adore that.
Fresh canon.
It's fresh canon.
I did say that to my wife at one point. I was like, "Oh shit, Leia's a droid liberationist."
Which brings me over to one of the biggest complaints I had of this show, which is just purely based off of our own headcanons, that Obi-Wan not only is nice to droids, but knows how to fix a droid, because, boy, he's a big old droid racist in every other... Or maybe he's an implied droid racist, and we've watched the movie so many times that it's solidified into the block of our subconsciouses.
If we're talking about, like, episode 3, in that fucking book...
Oh, God. No, we can't do this on the Obi-Wan episode, Ben. We can't.
We cannot. We simply
in that
cannot. Fucking novelization. Obi-Wan straight up
for new audiences, Ben read the novelizations of the movies at one point.
Yeah, it's this podcast that we do every week,
bringing them up. He's been randomly scattering this information throughout random episodes ever since.
The 4th rotation of the podcast that we're now on the 12th rotation of. The podcast that you probably haven't listened to. If you're listening to this one for the first time, that book.
If you're listening to this for the first time, we are on our best behavior. This is not normally how this goes. We're usually way more off the rails.
No, but in the episode 3 novelization, he rips R2-D to a new one. He rips it into that poor little fucking astromech.
Is that all you had based off of...
Yeah, like I totally reject droid-friendly Obi-Wan, because like...
Yeah, he's a piece of shit to droid.
You can't try to backtrack that shit at this point.
Well, he's he's aging and softening as he ages, I guess, could be the argument made. But also I don't think he treats the droids particularly well in the original trilogy either, so I don't...
No. He doesn't remember who R2-D2 is.
That's him doing a bit. There's no way. That's him doing a bit.
Yeah,
that is Obi-Wan actively disassociating as soon as he sees that droid. He's like, "Yep, nope, no idea."
Drag is kicking and screaming on to point. Does anybody else have notes on that first episode there?
Not really.
I mean, not really. I was kind of hoping we'd get to see a lot more of the Inquisitors, not just a brand new Inquisitor.
Best character in the show, though. No, like, seriously, I'm all on board with that. Moses Ingram does so fucking well in the show.
She did very well. I think she was great. I hesitate to. This is the problem now. This became such a big fucking thing with a bunch of idiots that
this became
am
a whole fucking
hesitant to
culture
criticize
war
this
thing.
character at all. Because I have some criticisms of this character and this character arc, and they have nothing to do with the actress because she did a fantastic job.
She fucking killed it.
I just was not particularly fond of the character.
I don't think you're supposed to be fond of that character.
No, I mean fond of the character as in like I was kind of annoyed at this character's entire arc and the way it played out to a degree. I know we're kind of staying chronological, but just as a blanket statement, we've talked about it a lot on the weekly show. I am really sick of the redemption arcs for villains in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm really fucking sick of the redemption arcs in Star Wars, and I'm really sick of the redemption arcs for characters who have done horrible things, and they do one good thing and they're redeemed. And I'm kind of annoyed that we got that in this as well, but that being said, the actress was great. She did a fantastic job. I just wasn't a huge fan of the character overall.
No, like I liked that character quite a lot, actually. I couldn't disagree more, and I don't even think she gets a redemption arc. Like, literally, her arc in the show is like bad person, bad person, bad person, bad person, bad person with context. Bad person that doesn't kill a child, which isn't a redemption arc to me. She chose not to kill a child is not a redemption arc to me, especially since she went to Tatooine planning to kill a child and then found the one thing that she couldn't do, which was not kill a child. So I never even thought of it like that.
How many other kids has she killed, though?
Oh, I don't think any. I think the show goes out of their way to, like...
Do we know that? Because I don't... Because that's the Inquisitor's like whole shit. I don't know. Do we know that?
Oh yeah, sure I don't know a lot about Inquisitor canon, so I guess I don't know.
What I'm saying.
I mean, they wouldn't be killing.
She didn't kill one kid. You know.
They wouldn't be killing the Force-sensitive children of the galaxy.
No, but they just at least.
If anything, they'd be abducting them and indoctrinating them, which is
like she was.
They had a child preserved in.
Yeah, can we talk about?
I don't think they're not killing kids.
Okay,
they're
yeah,
we're clearly killing kids.
Yeah, this is.
I don't think the chronological thing is working for us. We're not chronological people. We're just gonna talk about shit.
Fucking mind in the Discord, because like I went like, what the fuck, and they were both like, I haven't watched the show yet. I'm like, okay, let me know when you watch the show. He's like, what do you mean, what the fuck? I don't understand. It was a good episode. I'm like, no, what the fuck? They fossilized a child in amber, and everybody no-sold it. I'm like, am I the only one here that thinks that's a fucking nuts thing to do?
The problem, and I also thought it was insane, but the problem was the context of like you freaking out, and I went into that episode expecting something like some big thing like reveal or cameo or something like, and then I got to the end, I was like, what are we freaking out about? What happened?
They fossilized a child in amber.
Oh yeah, that sucked. You're right. Yeah, that was horrible. It's pretty bad. You're right.
I was a big fan of the Star Wars Blade Runner planet. I liked the Blade Runner planet quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just happy we got like a city. Like that was really cool to get kind of like a grimy underworld city.
Shout out to Tamara Morrison for a fantastic little cameo there. That wasn't supposed to be Cody, right? It was just supposed to be a random clone trooper. I didn't think it was, but I had to ask.
If it was Cody, Obi-Wan looks exactly the fucking same. He was like, Obi-Wan!
Shout out to Tamara Morrison's massive beard. That was also very good and apparently very real.
I'm pretty sure Cody, like, becomes one of the, like, early Stormtrooper...
I know.
He goes hard into the Empire fucking pecking order.
We have some canon on Cody. I think we might have, like, full canon on Cody. I'm pretty sure he died somewhere in something.
I know. No, this is what I know. The trailer that they showed at Star Wars Celebration for Bad Batch Season 2, Somebody took a video of it, and Cody is in that.
Oh. Okay.
So I know he's alive. I know he's working as a stormtrooper. I don't know if he's going like full stormtrooper based on that little tiny clip, but I know he's in that.
I want to say in current canon he is, and I know in old canon he did.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I saw from that.
All I'm saying is
Bad Batch clip.
Cody's a bootlicker, and that's canon in many timelines.
Yeah. I was very excited to see Kumail Nanjiani pop up in this. That was pretty fucking cool.
Who's that?
That's the
fake Jedi.
The fake
guy
Jedi?
who was like scamming people.
Okay.
Second best character.
I loved him.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he was great.
I said Moses Ingram is the best character in that show. I should best actor in that show. She does a better performance than anybody else in the show. Barring
fantastic performance.
Fantastic performance.
No contest.
Comes close to Ewan comes close. Best character in the show. This is the second best character in the show. The random I don't remember a name, but like this random just like fake Jedi fucking scoundrel fucking ripoff artist is so goddamn good, and I love that Obi-Wan just resists the idea of just tearing his shit apart from the beginning. He's just like, oh, this is happening. Okay, well, can you help me here a little bit?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Such a good character. Now, outside of that episode, do I think he's a great character? Not necessarily. I feel like he's probably very rushed and just randomly kind of like, I'm good now. I'm like, sure. Okay.
Well, it was another example of the Star Wars. Well, I'm just a good guy now, paying no attention to anything else. We're just along here.
I think it was always meant to be like morally gray.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was willing to.
Up in Andor. It would not surprise me at all if we see him again in Andor.
I think they were setting up a lot of Andor characters.
I think at this point, inevitable second season of this Obi-Wan show. Because everybody wants to fucking do it, Ewan McGregor included. So,
listen, this was a great show.
They left it open-ended enough that they could. I don't want them to. I said that to my wife. I was like, this was perfect. This was just enough of Obi-Wan doing stuff anymore, and I might start getting annoyed.
It's like Netflix's Jessica Jones. Great fucking season. Maybe one or two tiny complaints. Leave it there. You're not gonna leave it. Okay. All right. Here we go. I appreciate that Obi-Wan Kenobi breaks a finger on the first time that he throws a punch. That I think Chris will enjoy that particular.
There was a lot of hand-to-hand combat in this show.
A lot.
It's like they heard us talking a lot of shit about nobody knowing how to fist fight in the Star Wars universe before this show, and they just went, all the fucking fight scenes.
Ben, did they
fucking Obi-Wan's over here doing judo and shit, like he's.
Well, he does a little bit of judo in Attack of the Clones as well, with Django. But like the one time he throws a straight punch in his life, he breaks a fucking finger.
He breaks his finger.
Ben, did they recanonize the Siru in this show? Because they have like a T-Rex looking alien walking around on that Blade Runner planet, and I don't know if it's that or if it's just another alien.
I don't
know. That comes with a lot of like. I don't think you can just reintroduce one of the most xenophobic warrior races of Star Wars and just like that are like telepathic in a random Obi-Wan episode. But if that's the case, that's fine. It's cool.
I think you can.
Well, I
mean, think you absolutely can.
Considering it was like full out war during First Contact in the original novelizations, I don't know if it'd be like introducing Yuuzhan Vong.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just.
You make a fair point.
Yeah. Although they technically did do that. Anyway, so there's a lot. There's a lot in the show.
We don't have a lot of information on that planet yet, so.
Okay.
Can I say one of the things that really fucking bothered me? I think it was in the second episode. Yeah, it would be the second episode. Was it the second episode?
I don't know. You say it and I'll tell you.
The parkour.
Yeah, bad.
From,
second episode and
the
bad.
Inquisitor, bad. It was so bad. It was
Also,
really bad.
this is going back a bit, but the chase scene when the thugs are trying to abduct Leia.
Yeah.
You had three
That-
grown
I had no
ass
problem.
men getting outrun by a 9-year-old.
Yeah, it was one of the complaints I saw on Twitter, and it was another one of those things. Which shout out to not racist and Star Wars fans, because every time someone would say this is a little silly for Star Wars, and they'd just pop in just like this is the same franchise that this and this happened.
Oh yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
silly, but it's
yeah.
Star Wars. This is the same franchise that gave you Ewoks. I had no problem with that.
Back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Third episode was where I was sold, because I think I got to the end of this second episode, and I was like, what are we doing?
Ned is the best character in the show. I need more Ned. Ned is the best character in the show, and
Which
I will
one's
not accept.
Ned?
The big manufacturing droid that can't speak, but is just ride or die rebellion.
Oh, him! I love him.
Great
It was
character.
great.
Best character
really
in the
good.
show. Very good character.
I mean, that's the show just had a great cast overall. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just really very Star Warsy. It was very good. Getting all the Star Wars shit out. You know, you have a brand new, really cool, likable droid character. A couple of them actually, because Lola was pretty great.
Talking on, I want to say it was episode 2. Do you guys know who was introduced in the second episode of Obi-Wan?
I don't know. Just say it.
To official canon now, was introduced Corran Horn.
Corran Horn was in this show?
Yeah, that was the kid.
Where?
That was the kid who the fake Jedi dude was saving. Well, saving with his mom. When
I
Obi-Wan,
missed that
when Obi-Wan
entirely.
finds,
That's
yeah.
dope. Listen, I
people
love
found
Corran
this out
Horn.
on the credits that kid is credited as Corran.
Nerd. Whoever fucking
if
directed
you
that
go-
episode, you fucking nerd.
It gets deeper. If you go to the IMDb for the actress that played the mother, I forget what the first name was, but she's credited as something Horn.
That's so good. That's so good.
So,
and stupid
Corran
and random.
Horn
Wow.
is now canon, and all
Wow.
the like Star Wars lore nerds are freaking the fuck out.
That's dope.
Wow.
And stupid
I don't watch
and unnecessary
credits.
and dope.
I don't watch any fucking credits to anything, so I would have never fucking caught that. Wow.
I also usually skip the credits, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" and I was like, "What is happening?"
Does that mean? I hope they redo iJedi just to say that there's a random Star Wars novel that for
Oh my
no reason
God.
whatsoever talks about another novel series that is less interesting and written in the first person. Also, I hope that he also dies in the badass way that he died in the old canon. But that's dope. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
That's kind of exciting overall. That's
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's gonna pop up in he could pop up in Andor. It'd be about 10 years later.
Only if Dave Filoni notices this will that happen. Because Dave Filoni is the kind of
this.
Because like
it's
Dave Filoni would be the only person to build off that. And also like
hey, man, well, what the fuck? Where's Kyle Katarn?
Where's
you motherfuckers?
Kyle Katarn, god damn it.
Kyle Katarn is a rough thing to reintroduce because like a lot of his point as a character got undone by other pieces of canon lore and
True.
Anyway,
a lot of his point of existing is completely done away by Luke being how Luke was and everything, all that, how that went down.
I don't know, because in Book of Boba Fett, we get like little snippets of what was going on while he actually had a temple under construction. So like, there's a small window of opportunity.
Speaking of cameos, shout out to them mentioning Quinlan Voss. That made me very happy. But I removed the shout out for not using the fact that they mentioned Quinlan Voss.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
kind of
the weirdest Chekhov's gun situation I've seen in a while.
I don't even know if you can even say it's Chekhov's gun, but it's disappointing that they this semi-niche Jedi that used to be really popular in the old canon was just like, here's a little thing, he's alive. I'm like, okay, are you gonna do something with that? No, that's disappointing.
I do love imagining Quinlan Vos coming back to their base or whatever and getting updated on like, yeah, we had this whole fucking big thing happen, Obi-Wan Kenobi passed through this fucking Obi-Wan, what?
Obi-Wan's alive. The fire scene. That's that episode.
Oh my
That's
God.
in the episode 3. Oh my God, that is like one of my favorite visuals to come out of.
Just right off the bat, they continued the energy they started with Rogue One of just making Vader a fucking scary ass monster right off. He's just walked through the streets, force choking dudes and fucking.
Yeah, that whole episode was probably some of my favorite Vader we've gotten in a long time. Probably yeah, since Rogue One probably, or since Fallen Order.
That weird comeuppance that they gave him is just like, you left me in a fucking lava river. Fuck you! I'm gonna break your face across fucking hot coals. Go fuck yourself.
It was really nice to see, because by the time we get to the OT, Vader, towards the end of it, you start to see some of that emotion and like the anger, but like Vader's like kind of like cold and like he has
he's like tempered almost.
Yeah, he's got like a temper and stuff, but like we don't have petty ass Anakin Skywalker anymore. This, you got to see shades of there's a little bit of petty ass Anakin Skywalker left. That was really good.
The character development that happens in this show isn't Obi-Wan. There's a little bit of that, but that's more Obi-Wan just dealing with his depression, really, and dealing with the fact that Anakin is alive. The character growth isn't, Leia. It's not any of these other characters in the show. This show, very secretly, is character growth for Darth Vader. This show is literally built to be the bridging point from Anakin in Darth Vader's armor and Darth Vader in Darth Vader's armor. That's the way the show is built, and I think that's a brilliant decision.
I really enjoyed that. We're jumping all over the place at this point because we decided we can't do things in order.
We've been, believe it or not, we've managed to keep it episode to episode for the last little bit. We're technically on the third episode, but we just finished talking about the third episode.
One little thing that did rub me the wrong way was the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Because not visually, not any of that. It's just like how he was handled in the story more so.
I will say this, and then I will leave this to the both of you. I didn't know that the Grand Inquisitor was technically alive and everybody knew it. I managed to be shielded from that. So that moment where he walks back out was impactful to me because I don't watch any more Star Wars because I watch Star Wars every week forever. So it worked for me. But I spent
a few weeks kind of pissed off because like I knew he was alive. But I was like, did they just break canon right now? Like, did they just completely like what's happening?
I 1,000% knew like they know they're gonna bring him back. Like it felt shallow to me because I was like, okay, most of the people watching this watch a lot of other Star Wars stuff, and so like almost every like a sizable chunk of the people watching this are just like, okay, so this is just like a death fake out. Cool. Yeah. That's like one of the few plot things that rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, somewhat in relation to the Inquisitors, I also have a thing I'm legitimately mad about. Give me live action helicopter lightsaber flying. Cowboy.
Yeah.
You're gonna create a dumb fucking thing.
I was sad.
If you're gonna create such a dumb fucking thing, at least use it in live action. All right, commit to your mistakes.
Reva on multiple occasions holds her lightsaber above her head, and I would just sit there just like, is this the moment? No, it never was the moment. Why would you do that? Fucking this really tense scene where she's chasing down Luke Skywalker, and she's just like, oh, he's running pretty fast. Well, let me pull out my mini lightsaber helicopter to chase him.
I do.
A lightsaber helicopter.
I love the Inquisitor, the Inquisitorius as a concept. So like I am glad we got the Obi-Wan show to really like have some more time with the Inquisitors, because it's interesting. Because they're almost all former Jedi who were like essentially coerced.
Well, that's kind of why I've said one of my issues with Reva as a character was to like, all right, we know these other Inquisitors. It would be cool to spend some more time with them instead of bringing in just a new plot device Inquisitor for this show. Like, it would have been cool to see, Obi-Wan fight a couple of Inquisitors,
I would have loved to see Obi-Wan go toe-to-toe with the Grand Inquisitor.
I totally get what y'all are saying. But I think the show does a really good job of not giving Obi-Wan like a straight up duel until the very end. Because like even when he's getting chased down by Vader, he's going out of his way to not duel. Like he is ducking and running and ducking and running. So if there was like any other lightsaber combat up to that point, I don't think that would have been quite as impactful that it was, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Shout out to the return of baseball batting lightsabers.
I saw everyone complaining about that, and I was like, guys, have you ever seen...
It's like, look, we're just following original canon with this. What are you talking about?
Like I saw everyone complaining about that, and I wanted to be like, guys, have you ever seen Return of the Jedi? Like, have you ever seen Empire Strikes Back?
Hey, this is actually... Knowing that we all dug the show, this is actually turning out pretty well that we watch Star Wars every week forever, because all the stupid shit that people say, we're immediately like, yeah, but what about this thing that happened?
Yeah.
Like,
There's this weird like gap when you're a fan of something, because most fans, like watch something a healthy amount of time, like once in a very long while.
Most fans don't do 100 episodes of a bad Star Wars podcast.
So like we have the luxury of, we don't have the luxury of misremembering, if this is how I want to phrase it, because like a lot of people remember, like a lot of people at my work, they're like, oh yeah, I love when Yoda dueled Count Dooku, that looked amazing. I'm like, when's the last time you watched that movie? And then they'll make up some bullshit answer, and I'll be like, you're lying to me.
You're lying to me.
I'll be like, I know you're lying to me. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you guys know I watch this movie once every 9 weeks. Like it doesn't hold up. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And so like my roundabout point is like, it's very easy to kind of romanticize things that you like but don't watch every week.
Well, it's easy to I do this with books all the time because I read a lot. It's easy to forget the bad parts of things that you like a lot.
Yeah.
I remember this every time I read through one of my favorite fantasy series of all time, and I get to like the 5th book and I'm like, oh, this fucking whole thing sucks. Okay, this is just 180 pages of shit before you get to the good stuff. That's right. Okay.
But here's the thing about the hate on this show. Some of it is just needless fucking nitpicking.
Oh yeah.
I saw people complain that the lightsabers were too bright. I was like, first of all, the lightsabers are used as storytelling lighting, and we'll get to that in a second because I do want to talk about that at some point. But second of all, are you really complaining that the sabers of light are too bright? Is that where we're at?
This thing that produces light produces too much light.
You mentioned that this morning, and that had been the first I had heard any complaints about it. I said that multiple times watching it to my wife. I'm like, look, dude, I'm glad they've got the new lightsaber effects for this because they look fucking incredible. I mean,
because even in the sequels they use the same kind of lightsabers.
Yeah.
And those lightsaber effects are great in the sequels as well. And they're used for dynamic lighting, and they're used for tense scenes, and there's a lot of I hate to use this word, but symbolism in the way that they're used and the way that they light certain scenes.
It's symbolism
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
symbolism in our good Christian Star Wars.
God.
But to go off of that a little bit, I think, God, there are so many fans that re-showed their ass during this that don't know what Star Wars is, which is a multi. What's the Patrick Willem quote? This is a story about space wizards for children.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that, and it was just so many bad faith takes the whole time.
I love, and I'm so happy I never fell into this trap. But I love the amount of people who just like get so. I don't love, but these people who just get so invested in Star Wars
Without knowing
To
what Star Wars is.
yeah, to the point where they're like, well, Star Wars isn't a children's thing. Like, yes, it is. Yes, it fucking is. Like, when did you first watch Star Wars? I bet it was before the age of 15.
And it's also
like, there's I'm trying to think of a single Star Wars property other than maybe The Mandalorian that I wouldn't feel like fine letting my kid watch at like
holiday special
7 or 8.
I would not let my child watch the holiday special.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. That's
a whole other. That's a classic.
Hey, if you're listening to this for the first time, every December we watch the holiday special, and every time we lose our fucking minds. So
yeah, come by. It's a good time. No, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, maybe The Mandalorian, maybe Book of Boba Fett, maybe Rogue One, but even with Rogue One, it's just, I think that might scare a kid if they watch it too young, like, 7 or 8 or whatever. I don't know, man. It's a kid, it's a franchise. It's movies for children. I mean, it's movies for children.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying most media that's made for a younger audience.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I wish there's been this weird thing that's been happening online that is like nostalgia for like 2014 Tumblr. And in that respect, I wish most white nerds had the fucking free admittance that they like children's show that 2014 Tumblr had, because they were unashamedly aware that they were watching children's shows and they celebrated that. Whereas so many fucking fragile Star Wars fans were like, this can't be a show for children, I love it. It's like, well, that's okay. You're an adult who likes a child show. That's a normal thing.
Well, it's the thing, and it's something that's maybe the way we frame it's a little too
vague,
minimizing of Star Wars as a whole. It's not specifically for children, it's child appropriate.
Animorphs is a book for children, and it's some of the most poignant storytelling I've ever experienced in my life. Like, that's not.
Yeah. Animorphs were legitimate children's books, and they were, there was a lot of crazy shit going on.
There are a lot of war crimes in that.
Jesus. Yeah. Just like Star Wars.
Filoni, just like Star Wars. So to get back on talking about the things we love about these episodes, I mentioned the baseball batting. One of my favorite. I don't have a lot of comments on episode 4, but one of my favorite new Leia lines is when she's being interrogated by a legitimate Sith Inquisitor, and she's just like, "Is this a staring contest?" That's a great Leia line. That's a fantastic Leia line.
And I love that, because Leia's one of those characters where I worry about people getting her right.
Yeah.
Because Leia is this I want to use the word weird, but weird's not the right word. But Leia is this strange amalgamation of sass, attitude, but at the same time being the most heartwarming person, because she is like, her role in Star Wars is the personification of hope.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that's what her character is. And this show managed to get to the core of that so much, with just how she is around Obi-Wan.
This show with Leia is a telling of a losing of innocence, absolutely. But it's also a realization of privilege on her part to a massive extent. She goes from being I loved her from the beginning, but she was kind of a bratty, like, princess. And by the end of the show, it's like I don't like the. I don't know. I won't. There's so much to talk about in the last episode that I won't ever bring this up. But like the weird holster thing, that was just weird.
Yeah.
That was a weird plot point to do.
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
But like by the end of the show, she's realized the position that she's in life. Maybe way too young.
What are you all confused about with the holster? I'm confused by your confusion.
I'm not confused by it.
It's just a strange thing to give a child.
It's just a strange.
Well, it was
I get
it belonged to the character whose name I'm forgetting.
I know. I recognize that.
I get that.
It was just an unnecessary plot point. It's just like
it did give us the great line of, "Well, Leia, I'm not giving you a blaster. You're 10."
I mean,
it was
look,
a good line.
I read it. We want to talk about all the symbolism and stuff. You know, I read it as Leia looked up to this woman as a badass woman who was taking the fight to the Empire and helping all these people. And so besides having a thing to remember her by, you know, you kind of see beginnings of Rebel General Princess Leia here, you know?
I understand what they were going for. I don't think it was well done.
Oh,
I think
I liked it.
I think if you had established maybe an item that wasn't a blaster holster, but like even if it was a blaster holster, if they had like established that item through the show as some sort of significance, it doesn't have to be a significance. Just show us it a couple times. That would have had an impact, but as it was just kind of like, here's this thing. It's totally unimportant comparatively, but here you go.
It's literally the only thing they had of this person left. You know, they had her holster. You know, I don't think it needed any kind of like highlighting throughout the series to.
It's just very weird to
relevance to Leia.
I think it's just a really weird thing to give to a 10-year-old. It just
he didn't. You know, he wasn't going to give her a blaster. You know.
Yeah, I know, but that's. I'm just saying that
she was carrying Lola around at the end. I thought that was cute.
That is cute. That is cute. I just, out of a show that I have very nearly no complaints about, that was just kind of like, okay, that's a little weak. If you took that away, it wouldn't change much. But that's, yeah. So are we on episode 5? Because to me, this is the best episode of the show.
Really?
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Are we on that? Do we have any more comments about 4?
I don't have too much on that one. I mean, I'm tracking them I saw that coming.
Yeah, but it's specifically built for you to see coming. Like they're not trying to hide it. You knew it was happening as it was happening.
As soon as she grabbed the droid, I was like, okay, yeah, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Like that was put there on purpose. They weren't trying to hide it.
No, I know.
I'm trying to remember specifically like episode 5.
Episode 5 was the episode that was fully framed by the Anakin and Obi-Wan Padawan Master Duel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was great. I was a big fan of that.
That was the whole one where they're in the secret base thing, and
that whole show was such, like, that duel was such a great framing device for the entire episode.
That was what I was referencing earlier with my one small visual effects gripe, because I mean, it was fine, but like it really goes to show how absurdly well Ewan McGregor has aged, that they had such an easier time de-aging Ewan McGregor than they did Hayden Christensen, because I mean, God, in that scene he looked straight out of the prequels. I mean, it looked like Ewan McGregor from the prequels. Anakin, not so much.
Mullet.
Did they even de-age Hayden Christensen at all? I didn't think they did.
It looks awful, Ben. The de-aging of Hayden looks so fucking bad. Like,
well, it's not so much that the de-aging looks bad. It's just it wasn't enough. He looked significantly less de-aged than Ewan McGregor did.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought they just had like Hayden Christensen. Like, I didn't think they did any.
I I don't
thing.
know how.
It wasn't much. It was very slight, and that's the problem, honestly. Like that's the problem with it is that they didn't do much de-aging with him, and he looks very different. He hasn't aged poorly. It's not to say he's aged poorly or anything. He still looks great.
You can see how bad it is in the solo shots. When he's not moving, it looks like Luke Skywalker from the Christmas special. Like, it looks awful. But when he's moving, all of the creases and all of the age marks just sink right in, and it's like there's nothing there at all. It's too much when it's not moving, and it's not enough. Whatever tracking they used is not enough when he's moving. It was really bad. But Ewan looked fine. Like, you could see that in him too, that it was not good at times. But like, he looks so naturally young that you didn't notice it anywhere near as much.
Looking at Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor together now, it's funny because Ewan McGregor has aged far less between the prequels and now than Hayden Christensen has. Again, it's not to call out Hayden Christensen for aging poorly or anything, because he's aging very well.
He's just like a normal human being, yeah.
Ewan McGregor's got a portrait of himself up in the attic that's just getting older, and Ewan McGregor just looks great.
But yeah, that was bad. But I also think that Luke Skywalker and Book of Boba Fett looked really fucking bad, and apparently most people don't agree with me on that.
I think he looked fucking awful in the finale of The Mandalorian, but I think it looked significantly better in Book of Boba Fett. Still wasn't perfect. That technology's never going to get there, at least not for a while.
Significantly better, but also still bad.
It was still not the best, but it was forgivable, at least. I didn't recoil looking at it. Like, I could get on board with, all right, yeah, this is just young Luke Skywalker, whatever.
Yeah, this was
Mandalorian. It was like, what's wrong with your face, Luke? What happened?
How fucking excited do you think Hayden Christensen was to finally hold a lightsaber again?
Yeah. I mean, he was doing like weight training for like being able to carry the weight and do lightsaber. Well, and especially here, you're right. Although I assume the two of you really hated the back-to-back moment in that duel. There's a moment where the duel just stops and they put their backs together and they're just like jockeying for position, and it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, but I mean,
that was in like the flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind it so much in that because they're not trying to actively kill each other like an actual sword fight.
Yeah.
They're just trying
Anakin's just actively trying to kill Obi-Wan at one point.
Yeah. So like that didn't bug me too much. That was like two training partners. I mean, if you've ever done any kind if you've ever done any kind of martial arts or anything, if you know somebody very well and you get competitive, you start to do some stupid shit to try to one up each other. So it doesn't, it was fine. If that had been done as Darth Vader versus
that would have been another thing.
I would have had a little bit of a problem with that, but
I do like and I wish they did it like in maybe a couple of other places, but not like killer. I do like the narrative device of framing Darth Vader's tactics as early Darth Vader through Anakin Skywalker's training.
Yeah, it was very well done.
That was a very good storytelling device.
The whole episode is built around it. Everything that happens with Ewan and with Obi-Wan and with Darth Vader in the show is told through those scenes. It's fantastic. It's so I can't praise it enough. It's such a great framing device. So fucking good. Once again, shout out Moses Ingram. Her recalling what happened at the Jedi Temple with her character might be one of the most haunting performances in the history of Star Wars. She did so well in that scene. She did so fucking well in that scene.
Yeah.
The performance was so good.
I love her.
She was great. My only issues are with the overall character. She did fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the character. I just didn't like the character's full arc. Like it would have been. To me, they were telling an interesting story of a Jedi Padawan who gave into the dark side, became, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, one of the truest representations of a Sith, just to kill another Sith. Like, it wasn't like she was after Vader. She was trying to get revenge for her friends. She became a very true Sith on that path. And then the way they ended her arc kind of made it all fall apart for me. But I liked the way they did this character. It was interesting. It was something different for Star Wars for a bit.
Until it was a bunch of the same.
The same. Yeah, that's the thing. Because I mean, it was a really interesting story of someone going down that dark side path, going down that Sith path, specifically to go after the Sith to a degree, which was really interesting. And like, we've seen bits and pieces of that in like the EU. I mean, Jason kind of has a similar path. Maybe that's why I liked it so much, because it kind of resonated with me because of how much I love Jason Solo.
Yeah.
But again, the way they ended her arc in this series as just being kind of more of the same, you know? And whether or not it was a full redemption or not, it was played up enough as one. I mean, God, I would have loved it even. It would have been a perfect arc for me if she brings Luke back and, you know, Obi-Wan still basically tells her to go fuck herself because it doesn't change all the other horrible shit that you've done, you know? Like, yes, you didn't kill one child. Congratulations.
You did the baseline moral thing. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. That's overall my issue with the character, was that it was something interesting, something really cool, and then it just became the usual at the very end.
To shift to another horrible moment in this episode, they killed Ned, and I'm upset that they killed Ned.
Yeah.
Ned might be my Porkins. If you're tuning in for the first time, Ben like legitimately gets like teared up every time he sees Porkins die. Like, it's not a gimmick. He legitimately like is heartbroken at Porkins' death. I teared up when Ned died, and I don't know why, but I did. I really did. I don't get it. It wasn't a lot of build to the character, but I really teared up, and that might be my Porkins.
Look, we just love droids over here at Star Wars Every Week Forever.
We do.
Droids resonate with us.
And I saw those two character deaths coming on my, like, they telegraphed those hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get more character deaths. I honestly kind of expected that whole network
like
to get wiped out.
Resistance network.
Yeah.
I figured like 2 characters would make it out of there, but can we? I really so much love Obi-Wan doing, you know, the very Obi-Wan plan in that final episode of like, yeah, I'm gonna take off another ship and distract him because I know Anakin is so focused on me, he's only gonna come after me. I did say to my wife, though, Vader clearly just wants Obi-Wan dead at this point. They're shooting at the ship. They're trying to destroy it. They just want him dead. He doesn't need this big confrontation with him. Anakin Skywalker considers himself, I assume at this point, still the greatest pilot in the galaxy. He knows that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most dog shit pilot in the galaxy. Why the fuck did Vader just not take a TIE fighter and go shoot his ass down?
I don't.
Like...
I think it's a machoism thing.
Because like, part of me wants to think he wanted to be there. You know what I mean?
He wants to beat Obi-Wan. He doesn't want to kill Obi-Wan. He wants to prove he's better than Obi-Wan. And if he does it at the thing
better than Obi-Wan is doing it at dogfighting.
Because everyone knows he's better than Obi-Wan at dogfighting.
Because none of his toxic masculinity is tied up in starfighter piloting. He knows he's better than Obi-Wan.
He's comfortable in that.
That's true. That's a good point.
He wants to prove he's the better duelist than Obi-Wan, and he has never been that. And the only time he beats Obi-Wan, the man who taught him everything, is when he's a broken down old man looking to die. So I totally get the thought process. I'm sure it crossed his mind, but
So I guess that's our transition into
to the last episode.
the last episode.
Final episode.
I
My
had
favorite episode of anything in Star Wars
This-
ever of all time.
this episode was my favorite of
Very
the
good.
series.
Very good.
That's
episode.
actually not true. Another episode of another series that also features Darth Vader in a very similar scene is my favorite episode of anything in Star Wars.
Before we get too far into it, I want to say the beginning of this episode had a viewer discretion advisory.
It did.
I'm very confused why this one did when Obi-Wan getting raped over hot coals face first didn't.
Well, the previous episode did as well, and I
Did it?
assume
I
it's
didn't see
because
it.
there were lots of dead kids from the
That's fair.
Order 66 stuff. This
must
one
have
I was
missed
also
that then.
confused about because there was nothing particularly jarring in this episode other than maybe Luke getting chased by Reva. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it might have been Disney might have. This is just me speculating. I don't know anything for sure. Disney might have gotten a little bit of backlash because people have been like, "My kids are watching this,"
Mhm.
so that
Yeah,
might
but
be
they've
them
only
trying to
did
get
it
out
on-
ahead of something.
They've only done it on 2 episodes though. Like they haven't retroactively gone back, as far as I'm aware,
Oh,
and done
haven't
that on
they?
the rest of them.
Yeah, but every time they retroactively go back and change something, it turns into a big blow up. So I get them not doing it.
Yeah.
So we've talked a bunch about Reva's arc. Do we just want to talk about the duel like now because this is going to be the big thing? And then Owen and Baru. I want to talk about Owen and Baru, but
I
also the
definitely
duel.
want to talk about Owen Baru, but
Yeah.
I agree with Jay. We should probably get get our vegetables out of the way before we.
Owen and Baru is the vegetables, I think.
No, I have
Okay.
Baru is probably one of my new favorite characters in all
Baru's
of
a
Star
badass.
Wars.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Baru is
Well,
a
I was
bad
confused.
motherfucker.
I'm curious if y'all had the same reaction I did, and then confusion I did when it played out. She pulled that rifle from the hole, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a sawed-off Tuscan rifle,
Right.
Yeah.
like a bolt thrower."
Yeah.
But then they
Slug
started,
thrower?
they start blasting, and yeah, slug thrower. They bowcaster. That's what I was getting my wires crossed.
Okay.
Bowcaster.
Well, I said bolt thrower.
Oh,
or I
okay.
was
Oh,
saying
I
that
got you.
before.
I got you.
I'm getting.
Okay.
I thought you were correcting yourself
Is
too.
that an Outer
No,
Worlds
I've been-
weapon?
No, I've been thinking a lot about Wookiees lately.
I've been thinking a lot. You want to tell us about all the Wookiees you've been thinking about lately?
I miss Lobaka deeply.
I
had a
also
whole
miss
discussion about
Lobaka.
Lobaka the other day. That's why. I was very confused when they started blasting and lasers. I was like, wait, no, okay, that's not a. Never mind, I was wrong. What is this strange rifle they're using? It's like, that threw me for a loop a little bit, but that's just more. I'm a lore nerd, and I was
I
pretty
also
excited.
thought that was going to be a Tuscan
Yeah.
slug thrower.
Because I was pretty excited about the concept because like it's a little bit harder to block that, I'd imagine, with a lightsaber. I would have really enjoyed like a scene of Owen popping up like, haha, and she's like, you fool, I have a
See,
lightsaber.
That
and
would have
shoots her in
that
the
would have
shoulder with that
warranted that would have warranted the viewer discretion.
Yeah,
That
what a
awesome.
shotgun
That was
blast at short
awesome.
distance.
Ha! I
Missed
will
opportunity.
simply block your blaster bolt, just molten metal
Not a
in the
blast.
face.
Oh, it's been really good. That's a missed opportunity, and I'm pretty unhappy about it. But you
Oh,
know, that scene was great. Baru was being the badass, just pulling this fucking rifle out of the wall. You know, it was pretty great.
Owen and Baru definitely took a few stormtroopers with them when they died.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. That scene from A New Hope went from, oh, they just died like helplessly to, oh, a bunch of those stormtroopers died when they came in there.
Oh yeah.
I had
That
a
homestead
pretty-
is riddled with dead stormtroopers.
I had a pretty big laugh because I don't remember what the line is. You know, she says something along the lines of like, you know, at least here in our home we'll have a fight, like a chance or something. And my wife from across the room goes, "Are you sure about that?
You sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
I fucking lost it. I was like, "It's a fair point. That's a fair point. We've seen how this goes." Oh man.
Baru's just a badass, and I fucking love her for it. Baru's one of my new favorite Star Wars characters, and I will not be convinced otherwise.
I don't think Baru Poe had a single line in the prequels, and if she did, it was like one. And then
Yeah,
in
it
this
wasn't.
one episode, she was just totally awesome.
That's the thing. It was you're right. It was either no lines whatsoever, or maybe like one or two.
Yeah. And then in A New Hope, it's not much better. I think she has 3 lines, maybe 4.
There was an old Star Wars comic. I don't know if it even like was Legends canon, called Old Wounds. This came, well, not old, but like it came out after, at least after episode 1. Let me get a date on this.
Hate to tell you, bud, that's pretty old. We're pretty fucking old.
Yeah.
We are old. Like that would be height of my Star Wars fandom.
In this comic book, Darth Maul is killed after coming back. And
yeah, this is the Obi-Wan Darth Maul spider legs thing, isn't it? No, it can't be. It can't be.
The person who kills Darth Maul in this comic book is fucking Uncle Owen.
Yeah, this is the same one. Yeah, that is the one where, so this is the story in that I've referenced it a bunch of times. Darth Maul comes back to life. He wants to kill Kenobi, but he finds out about Luke. So him and his fucking spider legs go down there and tries to take Luke hostage, and then Kenobi shows up.
He doesn't have spider
1000%
legs.
I've read this comic like 1,000 times.
He's got 2 legs.
He's got the metal legs.
Yeah, they're not spider legs.
They're fucking straight up like.
No, I think you're thinking of the era in which he did briefly have spider legs. That's not. I think this was post spider legs.
He's definitely bipedal.
All right, you're right.
I'd say on Star Wars
totally
every week forever.
The
weekly
right.
show is starting to creep into this episode a little bit. We're getting delirious.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right, because that.
I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we were talking about the same thing. Old Wounds is a fantastic comic. I've read it like a bunch over the years, like a bunch.
So like, yeah, anyone who is unaware, there was a continuity in which Darth Maul is killed by Uncle Owen of all people.
It's the better.
There's also a continuity where a Darth Maul clone gets killed by Vader, so that's also a thing.
I did say that at the end of this episode that I kind of wish, and it's like a bittersweet wish because it's one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. I kind of wish the Darth Maul Obi-Wan scene from Rebels had not happened there, because it would have been cool to have that here.
Yeah.
But I don't. The only other option would be to just redo it in live action for this, and you don't need to do that now that it's been done. It just would have been cool to see.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes now, which is the duel.
I have some slight mixed emotions about the duel.
The
Why?
duel itself, it's fine. There's nothing particularly great duel-wise there, but it has some of the best dialogue in all of Star Wars.
I think this was the best duel we've had since the prequels, at least in live action.
I think the duel is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great duel. I just think the surprise of having such stellar fucking dialogue in Star Wars kind of,
Yeah,
being very good.
Fair.
It's just the dialogue is so good that it's like it almost minimizes the duel itself for me.
Star Wars is not known for having very good dialogue, and that dialogue was exceptional.
I had a moment where like this emotional dialogue is taking place, and I just had a flash of envisioning George Lucas sitting on his couch watching this, going like turning and looking at someone like his wife, just being like, "This dialogue's horrible. This sucks. What is?"
You're saying too much. You're saying too much.
There's no Shakespeare in any of this.
There's no
Where's
Shakespeare.
Where's the expository dialogue?
No, I just and some of this is nitpicky, but like when Obi-Wan, I laughed a little bit during this duel. When when Obi-Wan like has his anime character moment where he digs himself out of the fucking ground and once again for the second time achieves omniscience.
I don't know. It was pretty cool to see Vader
is like-
use.
It was cool to see it, but my
It was
thing
pretty
is,
cool to see Vader use Mold Earth on Obi-Wan
Yeah.
in the middle of that duel. That was pretty cool.
That was dope.
we have
Yeah, I
learned
don't-
that we learned that canonically both Vader and Obi-Wan are Earthbenders.
I don't know why people are commenting on that. That's some pretty like
It's because
basic
Obi-Wan,
like let's throw some shit at the Force with the Force stuff.
yeah, but with that much, because Obi-Wan's always been known as like this Jedi who hasn't been like was never great for like a Force prodigy, and it
I will
just
say-
it came a little bit out of left field for me. Is kind of what
It
I'm
was
trying to
nice.
say.
It was nice seeing grand usages of the Force
Yeah.
that weren't just a mind trick or someone getting pushed back a few feet. You know, it was cool seeing some like grand displays of the Force again. You know,
Yeah, I thought it was dope.
I
had
was
no
really
complaints.
hoping at the end there when Obi-Wan was going to chase Luke down that we would finally get another usage of Force speed, but no such luck.
No, that's an us thing now.
I've given up on Force speed.
Yeah, you say that, but when we get to Phantom Menace next, it'll be like, so fucking Force speed.
No,
I
I
would
mean
love
it's
to have
showing up
seen
again.
Ewan
We got-
McGregor fucking
it's never
Sonic the
going to.
Hedgehog after Reva.
Yeah.
We got 2 seconds of it in Phantom Menace, and that was 2 seconds too many. George Lucas realized the monster he created.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he ever realized it. I just think he did it and never thought about it again.
Nah, he's spiting me
No,
specifically.
that's the most George
He doesn't
Lucas
make
script.
Star Wars
Yeah.
anymore.
He's spiting me specifically.
To get back on point, we talked about the terrific dialogue that is. It's literally like the solidification of any excuse that anyone has ever made for Anakin Skywalker. Him saying,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, you didn't make Darth Vader. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I killed Anakin Skywalker. And the way he says it is almost apologetic. It's like, I'm going to give you this information so that you aren't living with the guilt of it because you don't deserve that guilt. I did it and I take power in it.
That's some straight out of the Vader comics levels of self-loathing
Yeah.
from Vader, which is fucking great.
I don't even know if it's self-loathing. I think he's saying that pridefully. Like, no, you don't get to take responsibility for this. I did this.
I think it's partially that, but it's partially because, I mean, we know from the Vader comics how much time Vader spent in that fucking tank just like, I fucking suck.
Just reflecting.
I mean, in the show, he spends a lot of time in that tank.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know, man. I was blown away by the fucking dialogue. Like, I don't think that's, I don't think it's, what the fuck is, I've lost an entire word from my vocabulary.
Well, if you're high, that sometimes happens.
I don't think it's hyperbolic of me to say that I was blown away by the dialogue here because by and large, Star Wars dialogue is dog shit. At least old Star Wars. Some of the newer stuff's gotten a little bit better. What's his name? I was trying to think of another example of it. Bill Burr's character in The Mandalorian, his whole speech from season 2, that episode, that was great dialogue. Some of the newer stuff is getting there, but completely blown away.
JJ does pretty good banter. I feel like there are definitely points in Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker when he's doing really good banter, so that's good dialogue, but nothing with this emotional resonance.
Yeah, like impactful emotional dialogue. This was like, it was incredible. I was like, holy shit, we can do this in Star Wars. Look at this. We have the technology. Look at it.
Shout out to the fact that as that entire conversation is happening, Vader is bathed in Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and it's not until he says, I made Darth Vader pridefully, he brings his lightsaber up so that he's bathed in red. Fucking excellent. Basic storytelling shit, but which I wouldn't even bring up on most shows, but it's Star Wars, and they don't do it enough, especially since they have lightsabers, so big shout out, great job.
Yeah. the back and forth between James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen's voice too
it's
was
so
Yeah.
good.
fucking awesome.
This is the
I
best
don't know.
layering of Vader's voice when he lost his helmet I think I've ever heard.
And
I felt a bit like it was
I think
almost
Chris is
in
about
some
to bring
ways
up what I'm
a
about to bring up.
cheap imitation of my favorite scene in all of Star Wars, which is
Yep.
the Ahsoka Vader duel from Rebels, because literally the exact same thing, cut to the face, exposed helmet, Anakin's voice melding with Vader's voice, emotional dialogue. You
Yeah.
know, not to take away from this scene, but it did kind of feel like they just wanted to do that moment again, but with these two.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up, but you beat me to the punch.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna fault it for that.
No, I mean it's fine. It's not like I don't
It's not a
fault them
slight.
for it. I don't. Yeah, I don't think it takes anything away from either of those scenes. This was just so well done, and it really helped bridge the gap, like you said earlier, Jay, between Revenge of the Sith and the OT. I mean, it makes Obi-Wan less of a dickhead liar when he says that Darth Vader killed Anakin Skywalker to Luke.
Yeah, and that's
He
like
hit him with the Darth.
He
hit him with the Darth.
That too, yeah.
Jay got a message as soon as I heard that just says, "We got our first Darth."
Yeah.
I think
I said that to my
stood
wife.
up
I was
and
like,
went,
I
he
like
hit him
it.
with the Darth.
Yeah. I saw someone, I don't want to take credit for the analogy. I saw someone on Twitter say it earlier. That's not an analogy. They basically said, like, in the context of that scene, it makes sense him calling him Darth. He's acknowledging he's no longer Anakin Skywalker, but he's refusing to refer to him
Use his
as his
proper-
new Sith title or his Sith name. He's only referring to him by his Sith title, essentially of
Yeah.
Darth. I thought it was a very, very good point, and as much as I love to make fun of, you can't win, Darth, it's that,
It's like a wholesome thing kind of now. 'Cause
yeah, like it fixes it to me. I'm gonna watch that when we get to that movie again in the fucking weekly rotation of hell that we're locked in. I'm gonna look at that scene completely differently now.
Yeah.
When I'm really looking forward to when we get to episode 3 and 4 this rotation, because there's
Luckily,
so
it's like
much
next
brand
week
new
and the week after in
context.
our recordings.
But there's so much brand new context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This show does a fantastic job not only of villainizing Vader, which I didn't expect. I thought they were going to be real soft with that. They did a fantastic job. They also do a great job of explaining a lot of the strange inconsistencies that make Obi-Wan an asshole in the sequels.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view is literally something now that was grained into him from Vader.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, he's still kind of an asshole in other respects, but like in A New Hope specifically, he makes a lot more sense.
If I could make one edit to this show, it would be that when we finally get the payoff of seeing Qui-Gon at the very end, when he Ben beat me to the punchline.
I'm
Said,
sorry, I know exactly
when he
where Chris is going with
when
this.
he fades, when he begins to walk away, that his Force ghost fades and Obi-Wan continues to follow the trail of urine that Qui-Gon Jinn left behind in the sand.
This podcast has, so we have a running bit where we talk about Liam
Neeson. Running bit. Liam Neeson pisses his pants a lot.
No, I know,
public.
but we have a running bit of bringing this up.
Yeah. He just does it. I don't know why, but he just pisses his pants all the time in public.
This podcast has corrupted my brain so much that as soon as I saw Liam Neeson, I was immediately like, all right, let's see how soggy those fucking ropes are.
Look, it's the first time that I've ever had the thought, do Force ghosts have to urinate, and I'm specifically thinking about it because of Qui-Gon Jinn now, so.
You want to talk about somebody that hasn't aged, though.
Liam
Neeson looks more like Qui-Gon Jinn than he looked like Qui-Gon Jinn in Phantom Menace, and I know that because I watched that movie last week. Like,
Yeah.
the only
Liam
difference
Neeson,
between the
another one
two
looks
is that
good.
his beard's a little more grown out on the sides. That's it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Good show. Good
Great
show.
show. Very good show.
I have one more slight complaint about this episode specifically. Palpatine sounded
Yeah.
great. Sounded fantastic. Looked like fucking Walmart fucking rubber little doll that you'd get.
Yeah, I didn't expect any Palpatine, and I don't think we needed any Palpatine.
We
Yeah,
got
I'm
about
happy
the
we
out,
got
even though
it.
was appropriate.
I'm not disappointed, but like
I understand the point of that scene, but I don't think it was necessary. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that scene. I just don't think it was necessary.
yeah.
I defended it a little bit to Ben when he brought it up. It's just like, look, it was always going to be a failing concept to try to make Palpatine look like Palpatine in live action between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, because he looks so polar different from Revenge of the Sith than he does in Return of the Jedi. But I did have to Google to make sure it was actually Ian McDiarmid, because the voice was, until the last line, the voice didn't sound like Ian McDiarmid, and he didn't look like Ian McDiarmid, so that kind of counteracts my point there. And somebody already photoshopped a picture of Qui-Gon. There's a famous picture of Qui-Gon on set during Phantom Menace in the scorching heat of the desert, just holding a rainbow umbrella with water up to it in his mouth. Somebody already edited that into this episode as a Force Ghost, and that also, I would like to thank that person very much. That made my day. Now we just need to add urine marks to that particular Photoshop edit, and we've got a gambling kid and doing space coke sort of certified Star Wars every week forever Qui-Gon Jinn. If you've listened to this episode and were like, God, these idiots, these two guys and
Lunatics.
a gal, lunatics, God, if they somehow don't sound like fucking psychopaths, you can check out Star Wars Every Week Forever, put up a new episode every Wednesday, and the tone of those episodes are very different from us being high. If you want to hear us hate Star Wars because we watch it every week, check out that show. Otherwise, glad to have you here.
We do this thing. We do this thing where we get to when we get to talk about new stuff or like stuff that we don't watch every single week, we actually put on a cohesive podcast.
Yeah,
that's how we get you. And then you come to the real show,
and it's like, Lord Vader,
nightmare.
Lord Vader, I can't turn off the lightning.
This has been Star Wars once in a while, infrequently. Have a great night.
Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.